Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I got another mod for Xena. I'm going to be putting in a 80mm throttle body from Overkill, or an Overkill 80mm throttle body. Pretty sure you can get it off of JackFab or you can get it off of Overkill. I don't remember which one I got it from. Runs about $300, $29 to ship, so about $330. I have an aftermarket intake, so I had to get a different coupling, which is a 3.5 inch, which fits the throttle body. I measured the inside diameter of my intake, so I measured the inside of this guy, and it was about 3/16, 3 inch and 3/16. Technically speaking, 3 inch and 3/16 is like 3.18. So they either had a 3.5 to 3.25, which I didn't want to go bigger and clamp down onto the hose, or a 3.5 to a 3.13, which is smaller than 3/16, which is in my opinion better because I could just like massage it in there and it'll still be a tight fit. So that's what I got. Everyone's gonna have a different intake. If you don't have an aftermarket intake and you have the stock, you're gonna have to work that out. So just make sure you have that like situation, that problem prepared, because it's gonna come up and it specifies that in the instructions. So without taking too much time, this is the box that it came in. This is the actual throttle body. It looks like, I mean, obviously good quality, nice, brand new. And then it also comes with your hardware. So this is going to be your spacer plate in here with, so this is going to be the spacer plate, which I'll go over how to install it. It's going to go this way. And then you have your tools. It's pretty straightforward. It comes with instructions. You're going to have 8 of them total, and I'll go over which one goes which. So again, it's going to be a pretty straightforward video. The instructions come with it are pretty simple. I think it's a 4mm Allen we're going to be using. And we're going to torque it down once we do take off the throttle body to, I think it's like, they recommend 11 pound-feet of torque. So we're going to get right to it, take this off, bolt on the next one, and you'll see me come to you later with a different video on if I notice a difference. And then obviously when I get my tune, we'll go over the numbers and stuff like that. They say that this should change the tone of the exhaust a little bit, or it's possible it'll make it a little deeper. So I'm always down with that, as you guys know, but we'll see. Let's get right to the install. Let's get started. All right, right away, getting started. First thing you're always gonna do, take off your oil cap. Take off your top, put the oil cap back on. All right, next for me, since I have an aftermarket, I'm gonna take off or loosen up these bands here, and take off this coupling and take this whole tube out. But before I do that, I'm going to take off my mass airflow sensor. So little red tab, you're going to pull out towards you, then right in the middle you're going to push down and slide it out, and that comes down. So we'll leave that down there. And then also don't forget to take out your clean side. Alright, okay guys, now that we have that intake part of the intake tube, we're going to take off this throttle body sensor. So it has a red tab. Again, you're going to slide that out, and right in the middle of it, you're going to want to push down and slide that out. So sorry that the camera moved there. So you want to pull this red tab out, and right here you want to push and slide this out. And you can kind of just leave that there for now. Alright, next step, we're going to be removing the throttle body. You're going to have 4 bolts, one here, one here, one here, and one here. If you guess correctly, it's going to be a 10mm, because Chevy likes to make everything 10mm, so you're going to loosen those. Once you get to this last one, you're going to have nothing to hold this throttle body up, so kind of just hold it. And that's that. So that's how you remove the throttle body. So you can see that this one's obviously super dirty. See if we can get it in the light. Yeah, it's just nasty, but I'm sure it could be cleaned, sent somewhere, somebody wants to port it or something like that. So that's how this throttle body looks. And then you also have here, let me set this down somewhere. you also got that guy, which is kind of dirty. So you just want to make sure you clean all around here. You know, make sure there's no debris in here. Make sure the gasket's nice and clean, because that's going to help seal. Here, let me zoom out. Make sure that this gasket's nice and clean, because that's going to help seal that throttle body onto here. So it wouldn't hurt to throw a little rag over it or something. Make sure it's clean. Okay guys, next step. I made sure this was clean. It says in the directions to make sure it's pliable, which it is. So you're going to grab your adapter plate. You're going to have 4 shorter screws and 4 longer screws. Again, 4mm Allens. The flat side, this side, is going to go this way, and the gasket's going to face out. Think about it this way. That has a gasket on it, which is meant to seal any air from leaking out of here, and this has a gasket to seal any air from the actual throttle body that we're going to be putting on, to seal any air from getting out of there. So in almost every instance, the directions say that the throttle body, the actual like computer of the throttle body, is going to face on the left side over here, and it normally is on this side. So that is okay. Just be aware of that. That way it clears the hood. So they would say to make sure that this sits flush with this, as flush as it can be with the actual manifold. So you want to tighten. They say it'll feel a little tighten, a little more tight than you anticipate. But when in doubt, it says the torque to 11 pound-feet. So that's what I'm going to do with my torque wrench that I had gotten off Amazon. Also, by the way, I told you where the throttle body came from. My silicone coupling, if you're wondering, came from Amazon, and I will put a link to that in the description. So without delaying it anymore, you're going to go ahead and fit this. We'll hand tighten these. And then we're just going to torque it down to 11 pound-feet, and then we'll go to the next step. Alright, now we got this guy seated on here, nice and snug, 11 pound-feet. It is seated nice. Next, we're going to make sure that this gasket, this O-ring, and this plate is seated well. And then we're going to go ahead and install the 80mm with the 4 longer bolts, which are 5mm Allen wrench. So the other ones, that's 4mm, these are 5mm Allen wrench. And then we're still going to tighten it down to 11 pound-feet. Alright guys, so now we got the 80mm in. It's nice and snug, 11 pound-feet. You see, I see no cracks. Everything just feels nice. Also, I forgot to tell you, when this single plate adapter is on, make sure that the bolts that you use on these guys aren't protruding out. So you want to make sure that nothing is protruding out and it's completely flush, because otherwise this won't seat well. So as the instructions said, most of the time this will sit on the left. So now that this is on the left and the throttle body is installed, you're going to take your harness, which is on that side anyways, and you're going to go ahead and slide it right in. Push in the red tab, and that's all good to go. So now we're going to have to install the coupling, put our cold air back in, and then install our mass airflow sensor and our clean side, and that's going to be a wrap for this. Alright guys, so it took a little bit of fussing around with. A couple things I want to point out, other than this looks pretty tight. I mean, obviously you see the 80mm there. It's nice and tight all the way around. Everything's tight. Two things. You notice how now my mass airflow sensor is over instead of underneath. This intake's so big that guys got to remember it's going to push everything back. So it pushed the tube back, which puts a little more stress on it. So before, when it was underneath, it was real tight, and it's just too tight now to where unfortunately, I can't like risk putting it underneath. I would show you guys, but I'm not even gonna worry about it. So I just wired it over, which is fine because it works just fine. At first I didn't want it like that because it didn't look as clean, but it's gotta have to do it that way. Two, here, if you notice, if you go back, there was a shorter piece of tubing. This is the clean side for the PCV valve. This is where it gets the clean air from. I didn't have enough length, so I had to get another tube. You could use a 3/8 inch fuel line. As you guys know, if you watch my Billet Custom sketch can, this is 3/8 fuel line. I didn't want to use the the hose that they provided, so I went with 3/8 fuel line. But I didn't have any 3/8 fuel line, so this is the tube that Billet Customs actually provided for the oil catch can, and I just cut off a piece of it and used it for here. So, and I tightened it down with a little clamp. So that's all set. So that's how it's gonna look. They say to anticipate, the instruction says to anticipate a little bit of throttle body, a little throttle body relearning period. So there might be a period when you turn on the car that the throttle body might be a little uneven or whatnot, and the idle might be a little rough, but it will get back to normal. The ECU's just got to learn, or the ECM just has to learn everything again. And that's what the instructions say, so that is fine. Don't forget to unscrew your oil cap, put your cover back on, and put your oil cap back on, and that's pretty much the end of this install. So again, I'll come to you with another video possibly on how it sounds, if it sounds any different with the 80mm. If it doesn't, you won't see a video for that, but you will see like a first reaction without a tune with the throttle body. It looks kind of ugly out today, so I'm not going to drive it today. So I will show you what my reaction is when I first drive it, but this is strictly an install video. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope it was pretty straightforward and it made sense. If it didn't, drop a comment and I'll get right back to you as soon as I can. I feel like I'm pretty good about that. I try to get back to everyone's comments if it's a question. I will put all the links in the description for where I bought this stuff. And as usual, just a guy living life. So if you like the channel, you like what I'm doing, give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you to us finally breaking 100. I know I said that in another video probably, but that's a big deal for me. We're slowly growing. I think now we're at like 115. So pretty exciting for me. Not exciting for anyone who has a million, but I'm blessed to have 115 of you guys that want to watch, and I'm glad I can help 115 of you. So till next time, guys. Bye.